Krishna Kumar. First up, a quick check of all our headlines. US Ambassador to India, Sergey Gore, says India-US trade deal near finalization. Further stresses that the US wants to work hand in hand with India. US Ambassador Sergey Gore downplays the move to omit India's name from the US Pacific Command System. Says, and I quote, "I don't care what name is on a letterhead." Tata data leak exposes iPhone 18 Pro supplier list, parts and photos. Sensitive data leaked on the dark web. Major update in the Twisha Sharma death case. Special CBI court extends judicial custody of former Judge Giribala Singh and her son Samarth Singh for 14 days, both accused to remain in jail till the 14th of July. India gets its 31st Chief of the Army Staff, Lieutenant General Dheeraj Raj Sheth, after General Upendra Dwivedi concludes his tenure.
का जो लौंडा था उसके बाल ही नहीं थे, तो अब ऐसे झूठ बोलोगे तो मरोगे ही ना.
I am very sorry for the words I have used. That I just used for a joke or something. बिल्कुल भी नहीं है.
The Ketan Aggarwal murder case has shocked one and all, and it has sparked several debates. Questions have been raised on several fronts, and when it comes to insensitivity and reels, they have been created to justify and also make a meme on social media. Now, a dentist called Dr. Muskan mocked the murder of Ketan and posted a video on Instagram. In a reel, she said it, and I quote here, "That Pune guy, he had no hair. If you say such lies, you will obviously die." So hashtag, "I hate men." The Jabalpur-based dentist was referring to some reports that claimed Ketan's use of a hair patch to hide baldness resulted in the murder. Now, however, there was immediate outrage on social media to what she said. And she put another post to eventually apologize. And in that post, she said, "I am very sorry for the words I've used." But she defended her usage of, quote unquote, "I hate men," claiming that was defined from her life experiences. She was suspended from the post of treasurer and the membership of All India Dental Students and Surgeons Association over her statements. The larger question being, why is there insensitivity when it comes to the man, or is there any insensitivity? Ketan Aggarwal Berman was pushed to his death on the 18th of June from the Lohagad Fort by Sia and Chetan, allegedly, after fiancée Sia took him there on the pretext of celebrating her birthday. The death was initially treated as an accident, but quickly, during the investigation, inconsistencies in Sia's statements and the presence of a person wearing a hoodie close to the couple made the police suspicious. And now, with all the meme fest doing the rounds, there is so many questions to be asked. There are memes about husbands being afraid of their wives, men being afraid of their fiancés. Why are these memes erupting? Let's firstly take a look at what's come out on social media.
So guys, क्या देख रही हूँ मैं कि पुणे का जो लौंडा था उसके बाल ही नहीं थे, तो अब ऐसे झूठ बोलोगे तो मरोगे ही ना. So hashtag I hate men. दो आदमी क्या मर गए, मर्द समाज में डर फैला.
So hello everyone, I saw the story that the creator had posted about me because of that nuisance story that I have posted, and I really want to apologize for that. But I want to just say one thing, that आप लोग जो भी ये सब लिख के भेज रहे हो ना, that is not at all justified, because I really don't accept this. And ये video is not an apologetically बस आप लोगों को दिखाने के लिए. It is because I am very sorry for the words I have used. That just use for a joke or something बिल्कुल भी नहीं है. वो चीज़ वो टॉपिक बहुत सेंसिटिव है एंड आई वांट यू गाइस टू जस्ट चेक मेरी उस दिन की स्टोरी जिस दिन ये केतन अग्रवाल का केस आया था एंड I have posted the story. I was the one who posted the story and I have written that I hate men. I use that thing, but I never ever demean the people according to the gender. And उसमें लिखा हुआ है कि why with the insensitive people and why with the innocent people. ये सब नहीं होना चाहिए. And even I got the comments from the males that you took the stand on. It's आप जो देखते हो हमेशा वो सच हो. That is not the thing. I know I write I hate men. I write it, I accept it और अगर ये गलत है मैं उसको हटाने के लिए रेडी हूँ बट मेरी कुछ पास्ट लाइफ में चीजें ऐसी हुई हैं जिस कारण से I use that tag.
So that was the case with that one particular woman dentist. But there are memes abound on this entire tragedy. And there are questions now from men because there's a narrative out there possibly which says that this is sort of a retribution to all the atrocities faced by women for ages. Is that the case? And is this meme fest justified because it's a guy involved over here? Lot of questions to ask. We have some people over here who are going to help us, some women who are now joining us here on the show. We have Deepika Narayan Bhardwaj, social activist. Thank you, Deepika Narayan Bhardwaj, for taking time out to be with us. We have Dr. Nisha, public policy expert, with us. And we also have Dr. Manisha Singhal, psychologist, joining us. Thank you, all of you, for taking time out to be with us. I'm going to begin with Deepika Narayan Bhardwaj and ask you a straightforward question. You know, as a guy, you know, there's lots of debate. You know, I'm talking to women, I'm talking to men. You're seeing the memes about, you know, men being scared of women buying blue drums because, you know, the men, you know, when women ask them to take them to a hill station, and, you know, that kind of jokes are what's doing around this tragedy. You know, in that sense, there's a debate. You know, is that male paranoia justified? You know, and more importantly, is this just stuff that's just said on social media, not something that women would eventually act upon?
Well, I think it is very, very unfortunate that we are seeing not just excuse of a murder, but rather celebration of a murder. Let me read out a tweet put out not by an ordinary person, illiterate person. This woman's name is Priyanka Deshmukh. She writes, "Hum jab bhi," and she is connected with the political party as well, but no statement whatsoever on why such objectionable comment. She says, "हम जब भी अरेंज मैरिज में मर्दों के मरने की खबर सुनते हैं हमारे को बहुत सुकून मिलता है। भारत में ऐसे ढेरों केस आने चाहिए ताकि थोड़ा दहशत बनी रहे। जबरदस्ती अरेंज मैरिज करोगे तो मरोगे." Then she further goes on to write, "Ketan Agarwal deserved it. Every arranged marriage should have the same logical conclusion." She is technically saying every man in arranged marriage should be murdered. In fact, the girl's father should also face the similar wrath. This is what Priyanka Deshmukh is saying. There's another lady who calls herself as a proud feminist. Her name is Aishwarya Subramaniam. She's a writer. She's a journalist. She says, well, he must have deserved something to actually be murdered. For me, just chewing out food loud will cut it, you know. There's another girl, Prapti. She says, I would rather have this become the normative crime in our society rather than dowry deaths. Hope she is free soon. There are so many women who have said that, you know, Sia, what has happened to Sia is very unfortunate. She should come out on bail as soon as possible. We are anyway seeing Sonam Raghuvanshi getting out of jail within 11 months. So, you know, this is very, very sad. It cannot be excused. And I think it is a glimpse of the hatred that has seeped so deep inside some of these women's hearts. And these are not illiterate, uneducated women. These are women who have a voice. There are thousands and thousands of people who follow these women, young girls who are getting impressioned because of these feminists. And I think it is just creating a never-ending gender war in the country. Crime should be condemned. I mean, we all saw the repercussions that that guy had to face who said 370 wali biryani. I mean, and you know, that discussion was on for social media for so many days. There are some women who are saying there are women who are subjected to crimes every day. Nobody gives a damn about it. I mean, how delusional that these people can be. In Twisha's case, there was a discussion for almost 1.5 weeks. Everybody condemned it. Everybody pointed out that, how can a judge talk like this? But as soon as a man is a victim of a murder, there are memes, there are jokes, there are these very, very comfortable comments saying, there should be more murders like that. It is very, very sad.
Yeah, okay, let's try to break this. I'm going to come back to you. I want to discuss more this with you, but I want to take this out. Like you're talking about that hatred that seems so steeped in Dr. Manisha Singhal. The question that actually many people have is that why did she do it? She had so many options. Why did she have to resort to murder? That's the question that keeps on coming on everybody's mind. I want you to address that first. What do you think? Because one way of looking at it is that the pressures of the arranged marriage system per se, and in this case, the pressure in business families, closely knit small communities, business families, the pressure from the family side is so huge. Some say that can yield such completely bizarre consequences.
Yeah. So sometimes what happens that we don't think straight. We want some sort of complexity, or maybe we don't have idea about what easy results, what easy outcomes we can get if we talk straight to the parents or to whomsoever is concerned about the issue. Because if she would have spoken with her parents, or maybe she would have spoken to the guy also, Ketan. So this was not actually required. So what was her psyche? What was her psychology? Why did she do so? So this depends on a lot of important factors. What was her, how was her upbringing, and what used to be her personality, and so these are the important factors. And if the family and the friends were aware, like some news I have seen on some news channel also, where one of the closest person had said so that we were pretty aware that she was a bit weird, and they knew this girl, years back. So if this was the case, then definitely marriage is not a small relation and small beginning. It turns the person's life completely. So these signs, these warning signs are very important to understand for the family and for that person also. And this girl has committed such a heinous crime. We don't have any words for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
words defeat us. I want to bring this back to Deepika Narayan Bharadwaj. This can be called, many will say, this is an exception. Till date, the atrocities against women is far outweighs the number of atrocities against men. Physical violence, physical assault, murders, domestic violence and all of that. Still, as of date, there's no comparison when it comes to the number of cases when women are the victims and men are the victims. Please unmute yourself, Deepika, please.
Well, I think the more we are going to make this a comparison, the more we are going to excuse these murders just because of numbers, the more cases like this we will see. More criminals will continue to get away just because of their gender. And as far as numbers are concerned, my NGO Ekam Nyay Foundation in just 2026 has documented 300. Every day, almost 2 murders of husbands by wives in collusion with their lovers. Now, how many do we want? 300,000, 30,000, 3,000? What number would satiate anybody who is going to make this a competition between two genders of numbers when they are victims of heinous crimes?
Okay. Deepika, we'll just come back to you. Let me just quickly take this to Dr. Nisha, public policy expert who also joins. Dr. Nisha, thank you for being with us. If you can hear us, Dr. Nisha, what we're asking is that, you know the memes that are doing the rounds, men are scared. after incidents of, the blue drum where a woman murdered her husband and put him in a blue drum. There's the Sonam Raghuvanshi case, again, where the husband on honeymoon gets killed, and there's the fiancée who's been killed. More and more instances. The only difference is that on social media, many women are seen celebrating it. And, there seems to be the overall argument that, this the same thing about toxic feminism and etc. now coming to the fore. Even this dentist who's been suspended, she has taken back all her everything else, and she said that, but whatever it is, I still maintain hashtag I hate men.
Yeah, this is indeed very saddening to see that we being Indians, in India, the justice system, it has to be gender neutral, I would say. Be it a man or a woman, when somebody commits a crime, you cannot keep on justifying it, right? And today, if you see, with regard to this particular context, what we are seeing today, when a murder is being justified, and when a murder becomes a meme, empathy becomes the casualty. Correct. So this is indeed very, very pathetic to see such kind of, perspective. And, on a gender bias perspective, if you look at it, society often reacts differently, whether the victim is the female or male, whether the accused is male or female. So based on that, they feel that always when the victim is, a male, okay, let them not deserve, or let's say let them not get the required treatment. That is a very, very bad way of actually analyzing or justifying, I would say. And this is indeed very, very, shocking as well, because this is a question to, where did the protection rights for both the genders go? It is, in fact, it is very, very saddening to see this kind of situation. And if you look at it, I would say that today our country requires certain policy reforms in a much stronger way. Yes, we do have a lot of policy reforms supporting both the genders, but I think we need to strengthen the gender neutral criminal justice, I would say. And because gender neutral access to protection, counseling and legal aid wherever appropriate is very much required. And in such kind of social media situation where they're converting a crime into content, and the social media is celebrating it. So now people will start losing faith in the justice system, because every content in social media, whether it is when it is a crime especially, is being celebrated. The people are entertaining it. So where are we going? And look at the mentality of the younger generations. People fail to understand empathy and sympathy.
Absolutely.
They feel that, okay, this is how it has to be.
I was going to arrive with that. Let's take it to the psychologist of it, Dr. Manisha Singhal. That's the question I wanted to ask you as well. Is it the question is also, is it generation? Is this a Gen Z issue per se? I'm sure millennial women had enough and more against men. And, they also, rebelled and revolted against it. But you're talking about that chronic lack of empathy. Are you seeing that? Is it a generational problem that this generation, which was born and raised on social media, has become numb to all these things?
Yeah, definitely. Somewhere it is seen, because all the cases are taking place, and after that also the kind of memes we can see on the media. So there may be one thing what I can see, that media is a platform where the person can get any sort of publicity. So whether notorious or good or bad, any sort of publicity. So short term, but the person is getting publicity by associating with the case. So the memes, what you just asked about the memes, there may be one motive behind it. But apart from that, we cannot blame this generation. But yes, there is a lack of sensitivity. There is a lack of empathy. But again, it depends, what kind of interest they have. If they are very particular about something, they would be definitely sensitive, emotional, and full of empathy, sympathy, everything. But if something is not connected with them, if something is they are not interested in, they are not, not at all they are concerned about, then they can react. They can give any sort of reaction, any sort of response. So we cannot blame the generation. Definitely, we should blame the upbringing, because the patience we are losing. All of us are losing. Even the parents of Gen Z, they have hardly any patience. So what we see, what monkey see, monkey do. So what they are saying, they are following that. So blaming generation is not right. But yes, how can we correct that? How can we convey the message? How can we, again, condition them? How can we, what all we can provide, what all we can provide them to be sensitive.
Fair enough. I understand you can't blame the generation. They were raised by the previous generation. But my question here is that where have we arrived? And that's what Deepika Bhardwaj seems to be saying, that these are ominous signs of where we have arrived at. If you can't see the fact that yeah, go ahead, Deepika.
What concerns me here is getting away, demanding murder. I mean, I can only fathom that anybody in a very, very respectable position, any journalist, any male journalist, just imagine if that person would have said that we need more murders like this. Or, crimes against such women is okay, men also suffer. I cannot even fathom the kind of repercussions this person will face for a lifetime. But today, there are just so many people who are going on social media in zest of this so-called gender war, or, this absolute hate for men, which I am sure there are a lot of people who are intentionally doing it. It can lead to, and it is leading to, crimes as well. We saw that case which happened in down south, where this woman was making a video just to go popular, to have likes, and she falsely accused a co-passenger of molestation. He died by suicide. There are now these kind of going viral, people are willing to make any kind of obnoxious statements, in zest of their whatever, smashing the patriarchy or I don't know what, that they're okay now to justify even murders. This had for the longest of time, I've been working on men's issues for the last 14 years. For the longest of time, it was a little hidden, People would at least say, no, we are not against men. We also condemn crime against men. But now that is gnawing his face in front of us, where now there is justification of murder. It is absolutely appalling. And it will give strength to women like Sonam, to women like Sia, to commit crimes, get away, put up a sorry face. You're a woman, you're a female, you will be believed whatever you say. There are so many people to justify your actions. I would want to believe that this will give strength to people who are criminals to commit crimes.
Okay, Dr. Nisha. Okay, Dr. Manisha Singhal, please go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to add one important point to this thing. There is a clinical psychological condition called hybristophilia. So where the people actually try to associate with the killer, with the murderer, and irrespective of the consequences, irrespective of anything, their motive is to get popularity, and they just want to get famous. Maybe short term, but they want to have this kind of popularity. And media is something which is basically providing them to have this defame.
In fact, one of the cases, I'm sorry if I can intervene here. One of the cases which did not get discussed. I wish you could have actually shared that video also. There's a pharmacist lady who made a video saying, ऐसे 5-6 मर्डर मैं करना चाहती हूँ, बट मेरे में इतनी हिम्मत नहीं है कि मैं ऐसे 5-6 मर्डर कर लूँ. I stand strongly by Sia. She's a pharmacist. We did tag her organization. We are not too sure if she has, taken away her handles. But she was so confident in saying that I want to kill 5-6 men like that. I do not have the guts to. Sia had the guts to, and hats off to women like Sia and Sonam who are going ahead and killing these men. I don't know where this is coming from, but these are not illiterate, uneducated women. These are educated, living in the same society women who are working somewhere, and if they are harboring such hatred, a pharmacist, a doctor, what are they going to do in their profession? I shudder to even think.
Okay, Dr. Nisha, the question again, when I speak to my feminist friends at least, is that in all these years when so many women get killed, there was no debates on why, nothing was spoken about, nothing was said. Women have been suffering, physical assault at the hands of women, of men, men killing their wives. for example, in France, they say, the maximum murderers of their own wives are their closest partners. Globally, this is an issue for women and assault on women, murdering of women, etc. It's not. I hate to do the whataboutery, as Deepika would call it. This is the whataboutery. Like, so what? That I'm not trying to do a whataboutery over here. But if I can ask you, okay, we don't seem to have Dr. Nisha right now, but Deepika, that's what.
I just want to intervene here. And I'm sure as an anchor, as a journalist, you would correlate with what I'm saying. The first case that made headlines was Atul Subhash suicide case. I have been in this space for the last 14 years. I have not seen any case before get as much discussed because it was a heart-wrenching case. It was a 1-hour video. Uske baad, it was Sonam Raghuvanshi Raja case. Muskan case because it was so brutal, blue drum, chopped the limbs. And now the Sia case. 4 cases I can count on my fingers where media gave some attention to crime that are happening against men. Please tell me, you can go through your own timeline. I think crimes against women get due attention in media, in policy, in all the discussions. There are so many laws that are there for women. I just don't understand, why people are so disturbed if just 4 cases. And like I told you, there are 300 murders that have happened in 2026 only. About 50 in June 2026. Have all of those murders been discussed in media? No, they have not been. But
Deepika, based on these cases which have been discussed as media, and people like, so everybody has been discussing at least these 4 big cases that you're talking about, and now comes this Sia case, and would you then say the big question that we're asking tonight, is the male paranoia justified? Not just because of the murder, but the reaction from the women community to that murder?
No, I am just raising one question. If there is a crime happening, and if there is a certain type of crime which is increasing in the society, should the society shut up? Not speak up at all about it? Do men not even have the freedom today to feel scared? There are some men who are feeling scared because of so many things, and these are murders. Let me tell you, there are so many cases of false accusations. There are more than 1.2 lakh men committing suicide in India today. Yeah. There are so many suicides happening where men are leaving suicide notes and videos saying that they were so traumatized and tortured by their wives that they are taking their own lives. People are seeing around where families are getting destroyed. These are not anecdotal experiences or incidents anymore to brush aside just to satiate that only women, a narrative that only women are criminals, victims of crime. No, there are men too who are victims of crime, and that doesn't take away in any manner the seriousness that women's issues should be dealt with. A man who commits a crime must be punished severely. If a woman commits a crime, she should be punished as well. That is all that is required in the society.
Absolutely. That's a very, very fair point, Dr. Nisha. The equal punishment is one thing, but how society perceives it, nothing. You can't control that, Deepika. You can give the right punishment to Sia and others, but you can't control the way society reacts to that. And Nisha, I want to ask this question as well. You're seeing so many of these content on OTT platforms, crime-based content, murder-based content, how you can get away with murder, all those things you're able to see. And this, hate to generalize, but so many women love watching all of that. Men, get scared even looking at that now. Like if you're watching those kind of things, what makes you think that like one finer you want? I'm going to ask the question, Dr. Manisha Singhal, the psychologist as well. But first, I want to ask you as well. You're based out of Chennai. I'm curious to know how are women in Chennai reacting to a case like this?
be it women belongs to Chennai, Delhi, Kerala, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's about the women across, right? As you said, when somebody is watching sort of crimes in OTTs and other platforms, or let's say, because where you're kind of killing somebody, finding ways to escape out of it. See, we should not glorify violence or crime. It is good to watch because people want the filmmakers want to show that this also happens in today's society. But taking it as an inspiration and kind of justifying it is nowhere, to be accepted, because it is not. The battle should not be between men versus women or victim versus accused. Rather, it should be all about protecting the rule of law. See, yes, we should acknowledge pain, discuss system failure, and advocate a lot of reforms, while still insisting that allegations of crimes or murder be judged by the evidence in court. And I would say that society, okay, which consists of both male and female, it should be mature enough, because a mature society does not glorify violence. And I don't think any women fraternity should also glorify violence, no matter in any form. Because when you start glorifying violence,
Dr. Nisha, is it time for public policy to be created for the protection of men? That is, because I think that's what Deepika Aggarwal was talking about. There is no awareness that there needs to be systems to do that.
That's what, Karthik, I do agree with what Deepika also said. Why? Because we need for men's commission. That's for myself and Rahul Ishwar, we're very particular that the men's bill commission has to come in. The men's commission has to come in. Why? Because see, just like I being a woman, I get my protections, I get my other safety perspective. There are so many innocent men. See, if you see a mother has two children, a daughter and a son, they are like two eyes, both right and left eye. Even if a left eye gets injured, it still pains for her. Right. So we do have brothers, sisters, fathers are also innocent. Not every man is out a rapist, or every man is a murderer out there. Of course, centuries old practices there. Women are kept subjected to domestic violences, this, etc. But doesn't mean that in the name of empowerment, in the name of freedom of expression, you can just do anything that you want. That cannot be justified. In today's society, we need to have a gender bias. We need to have a gender neutral laws where no matter if it is a female as well who is committing a crime, she should be punished without even taking into consideration gender. Why? Because crime is crime irrespective of gender, no matter whatever it is. Because we should never ever allow the younger generations, the upcoming generations, to literally understand that it's always the females who have to be protected. Yes, they have to be protected, but doesn't mean that anything they do should be protected, right? What is wrong, no matter whatever it is. This has to be, kept in mind. And that's very, very important, right? Absolutely. And justice cannot be crowdsourced also. That's what we're seeing in social media as well, right? And the policy, back to the policy. See, we do have policies, but where are the policies supporting the men's? Are they very strong policies? You have youth commissions, you have youth as a whole, but exclusively like a women's commission. Do we have a men's commission? Why can't that be put forward? Why can't that be why can't that be strengthened? So many innocent men can also be saved from all this.
Absolutely.
Talking about the issue, what has happened? Yeah,
I couldn't agree with you, because thankfully we have something like the men's.
Can I quickly share? There is a
quickly, because I want to ask Dr. Manisha Singhal as well.
There's a video who a husband sent to me right now. His wife has filed numerous cases on him. His wife has put up a WhatsApp status where a woman is saying, we need fifth partner. There's Sonam, there's Sia, there's Nikita, and there's Muskan. Muskan is saying, we need a fifth partner. And then Sonam is laughing and she's saying, it could be your wife next. So his wife, who is in dispute with him, she has put up a WhatsApp status for him to see that you could be the next guy who would be murdered. This is what is happening in the society right now.
Okay. Adding 30 seconds, Karthik, adding a point to what Deepika said. Today, under the context of women protection, women's commission, the women feel that, no matter whatever you do, it's fine. I'll be protected because I'm a woman. So that mentality has to be shaken now. Otherwise, a lot of innocent men, including you, because you belong to that fraternity.
Exactly why I'm having this debate. It
becomes a question of where is the protection for our sons? Where is the protection for our for our fathers, for our husbands? It becomes a question mark, right?
Fair enough. We'll have to leave it at that because we're completely out of time here on that conversation. But it's been great having you, Dr. Nisha, and Deepika Aggarwal. As always, Deepika, in fact, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us. With that, we take a very short break. We'll be back with lots more on the other side.
Meet the tomorrow today. ICFI is the bridge between tomorrow and today. Bridge between aspirations and accomplishment. Bridge between I wish to I can. I will remove the gap. Welcome to the I am ICFI. Believe